but today we have 4 teams left for you to meet. I'm Jackson Bajira-Blyton, and to help you meet those teams, we have Elliot Venruki-Fencel.
Yeah, these teams battled it out around the globe. We had 2 teams qualify from our Chinese region, 1 from our Asia Pacific region, and 1 from Latin America.
It's safe to say it's been a big year for WoW esports across the board. We've seen an increase in coverage, but also for these regions in particular, we've seen more tournaments as well.
Yeah, Gladiators Summit was there. Our first stop was Taipei, where we saw Korean teams battle it out against the Taiwanese teams, against the Australian teams, but ultimately it was Australia that emerged victorious, and they'll be going to BlizzCon.
Yep, that's right, and that team is none other than Blank Esports.
Welcome to Taiwan. This island of 24 million people is located off the southwest coast of mainland China. The capital city of Taipei, known as one of the 4 Asian Tigers because of its bustling economy, is also filled with historic landmarks dating back hundreds of years.
Nestled into downtown Taipei is Blizzard Stadium, the site of the World of Warcraft Asia Pacific Regional Championships. 8 teams from the Asia Pacific region came here to compete for a quest to the World Championships at BlizzCon 2017.
The quarterfinals began just as Typhoon Nasat blew into the city from the west. While the storm raged outside, Team Takbyagi Breaker from Korea rolled through the first 2 rounds of competition, sweeping both DoD and Australia's Avent Gaming.
On the other side of the bracket, Blank Esports from Australia muddled through a 3-2 victory over Team Hay. They then improved on their narrow victory with a 3-1 win over ROC in the semifinal.
This set up a finals match between the 2 continents, with Team Blank Esports representing Australia and Team Takbyagi Breaker from Korea. On the line, a coveted scroll and a trip to BlizzCon.
At first I was intimidated with the Koreans, but as we practiced with the Australian teams, we just got more confident and we knew we can get them.
We beat the comp they play on ladder pretty much every time, especially when they played the Holy Priest version. Like, we weren't scared of that at all. We were hoping they'd just play that till the end. The Druid version's a lot more difficult because they just play to drag out the game till they eventually win.
Team Blank Esports rallying behind dominant performances from Unix, Streaming, and Primes rolled out to a 2-0 lead. They had plenty of support from Team Avant, who had been eliminated earlier by the Korean finalists.
Every time we'd done something to the healer, any setup, we'd hear them yell.
Down 2-0, Team Takbyagi Breaker adapted their strategy, which was trouble for Blank Esports.
The game that we lost, I think, was on Tolveron, which is basically just the hardest map for us to play on because it's so big. But yeah, the big maps are sort of the more difficult ones.
Undaunted by a tough loss on a difficult map, Team Blank Esports stayed focused and won Game 4 convincingly to take a 3-1 lead. Could they become the first Australian team to ever go to BlizzCon? Match 5 took place on Ashmane's Fall.
Unix and Team Blank Esports were so locked in, they didn't even realize the match was over.
Do we win? Do we win?
Why are we not celebrating?
But the most rewarding part of the victory was completely unscripted. Team Avant, who had been eliminated earlier by the Korean team, had rushed the stage to celebrate with their countrymen.
That was a good feeling. Everyone came in, we just hugged, and the energy was there. We all yelled out. Didn't talk about this at all. We just yelled out the same thing.
Team Avant Gaming, I've been friends for about 7 years, and when we're on stage playing the games, we could hear them in the crowd, and we just got a boost of energy whenever we heard them.
It feels great. I feel like it was very surprising, sort of, to us at the end that we were able to make it to the end.
It's so awesome seeing these Australian players sort of band together and celebrate the fact that there will be an Australian team represented at BlizzCon.
Yeah, I think this is a perfect example of the magic of a live event, right? You have a team that is qualified for BlizzCon, and they're rushed on the stage by their friends, all celebrating together. It's just an awesome sight to see. But of course, Blank Esports are not the only team that's qualifying for BlizzCon that we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, our next stop is going to be Shanghai, where we saw China's best battle it out for just 2 spots at BlizzCon.
And those 2 teams that qualified through China will be Imagine PvP and Pen and Paper. Now, Pen and Paper are known for their patented TSG composition, whereas Imagine PvP has a little bit more versatility on their roster, all based around their Warlock player, Dark Arcanio.
Yeah, last year we saw the team Panda Gaming represent China at BlizzCon. This year that roster has sort of diffused, forming these 2 teams, giving China 2 powerhouse rosters for BlizzCon.
Welcome to Shanghai, home of the busiest shipping container port in the world and known as one of the world's top financial centers. Established in the late 12th century, this rapidly growing metropolis is home to over 24 million people.
It is here that the best World of Warcraft players in China came to compete for $40,000 and 2 spots at BlizzCon.
The tournament began with 8 teams in group play, followed by a double elimination bracket for the final 4 teams. 8 teams battled it out, but the China Regional was a story of the 2 frontrunners, Legion PvP and Team Pen and Paper.
Imagine PvP consists of GX PvP, Zeond, Alastair Lol, and their undisputed leader, Dark Archon Yo. In 2016, he played for Panda Gaming, last year's undisputed top Chinese team, where he was named China's MVP. However, after an 8th place finish at BlizzCon 2016, Dark Archon Yo parted ways with his former teammates to form Imagine PvP for 2017.
Dark Archon's former Panda Gaming teammates, Dao, Sagadi, and PPCat, created Team Pen and Paper. But with Dark Archon gone, they had a huge hole in their roster. The team then added Dennis Sinner, who quickly became a key part of their deadly TSG composition, playing the Death Knight.
Both teams rolled through the group stages and dominated their opponents 3-0 in the semifinals. This set up a head-to-head battle in the winner's final bracket.
Team Pen and Paper crushed Dark Arcanio and the rest of Legion PvP 3-0 in their final matchup, thanks to Dennis Sinner, who played every game in the regionals using the same classes that Dark Arcanio formerly played.
The 2 teams met again in the grand finals, and although Legion PvP was able to win 1 game, they were soundly beaten 3-1 by Team Pen and Paper.
For Dao, Sagadi, and PPCat, the return to Anaheim was a just reward.
我第一次去暴雪嘉年华，感觉非常激动，现场也是非常的观众也非常的多，然后外国的选手都非常的强，所以让我今年还想去跟他们对抗。
But for new edition Danny Sinner, it was a culmination of many years of hard work.
因为也玩魔兽世界很久了，这次也算完成了自己一个梦想。然后这个赛季，就这个版本，我的职业是相对于来说有机会出场，所以这次能拿到冠军非常开心，能去暴雪嘉年华。
For Team Pen and Paper, it's time to find out if they're a better team without Dark Archon Yo.
2、1，暴雪嘉年华，我们来了！
Team Legion PvP ended the China Regionals with a loss, but they too are headed to BlizzCon. We asked them which teams they think are their biggest competition.
EU，因为欧服玩家是目前世界上最厉害的玩家。
我觉得看补丁看版本，然后目前来说应该是我比较觉得是 Swazi 比较难。
We also talked to OG Dark about what it will take to beat the best teams in the world.
我主要觉得还是看版本，然后还有看现场，就是一些斗智斗勇、战术安排，然后还有一些阴谋啊之类的那种战术安排上，主要看战术安排。然后水平的话，国服其实个人技术来说比较接近欧服，但是战术安排还有心理素质相对比较差一些。嘉年华，我们来了！
We'll be there too, but before we do, we're heading down to Sao Paulo to check on our Latin American champions.
Yeah, and those champions are going to be Unitas Black. This team is so consistent and such a dominating force in this region that they seem to qualify consistently year after year.
Costa, você vê ali o nome do menino Rosito.
This year, Unidas Black has been the team to beat throughout the entire Copa America season. Rind, a prominent player in the World of Warcraft PvP scene, is a tournament veteran and consistently places very high on the competitive ladder. Last year, in the North American Regionals, Rind and his team of Latin American players tried but failed to qualify for the World of Warcraft World Championships. This year, LATAM region has its own spot at the World Championships, and this team is looking to prove they're worthy of this spot. After qualifying for BlizzCon through the Copa America Finals, Unidas Black will be entering the World Championship stage as the undisputed best team in Latin America.
Unidas Black truly seems so focused and so determined this year to put on a performance on that global stage. Jackson, how do you feel like their team and our other 3 teams are going to fare this year?
I think it's a tough battle for all 4 of these teams. However, I do think that 3 of them have experience on their side. Unidas Black and both of our teams qualifying through trying to have BlizzCon experience. And the one team that doesn't have BlizzCon experience is making history. They're the first ever all-Australian team to qualify for BlizzCon, and they have a lot of support on their side as well.
Yeah, these regions in the past haven't been the most successful against our North American and European teams, but it really seems like 2017 is the year of upsets in WoW esports. I don't think you can count any team out moving forward, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Oh, I think it's going to be an absolutely awesome World of Warcraft World Championship event this year, and I'm really looking forward to it. But for now, we must bring this episode to a close. Thank you all so much for watching. On behalf of myself and Elliot, it's been an absolute blast, and until next time, we'll